Girls, and welcome to today's mini lesson. So for the past couple of days, we've been tackling social issues. Remember, a social issue is a problem that occurs within society and can affect the way that one person or a large group of people can function to the best of their ability. So today we're going to tackle a really important social issue. It's one that many of you have probably felt personally or know somebody who has dealt with this social issue. So I think it's really important that we tackle it together and that we learn and grow from it. Before we begin, please have your Stop and Jot doc open because as we're reading, we're going to stop and I'm going to have you answer some specific questions in your Stop and Jot document. Remember that you're not creating a new Stop and Jot document every day. You're working on the same one that you shared with us on Monday. Okay, so please have that open. Remember, you can stop and pause this video at any time and you can work at your own pace. So I'm going to be reading from YouTube. It's called The Invisible Boy by Trudy Ludwig. It's a great story and it teaches a really great lesson. So remember, just have your Stop and Jot doc open and available, and I will let you know when we're going to be stopping. Here we go. Can you see Brian, the invisible boy? Even Mrs. Carlotti has trouble noticing him in her classroom. She's too busy dealing with Nathan and Sophie. Nathan has problems with what Mrs. Carlotti calls volume control. He uses his outside voice inside too much. Sophie whines and complains when she doesn't get her way. Nathan and Sophie take up a lot of space. Brian doesn't. When the bell rings for recess, Micah and JT take turns choosing kids for their kickball teams. The best players get picked first, then the best friends of the best players, then the friends of the best friends. Only Brian is left, still waiting and hoping. JT glances in Brian's direction and just as quickly looks away. We've got enough players for each team, he tells the others. Let's play ball. In the cafeteria, Madison and her friends talk about her birthday party. The rope swing over the pool was awesome, says JT. Yeah, so was the water slide, adds Fiona. That was the best pool party ever. I'm so glad you guys had fun, says Madison. Everybody did except Brian. He wasn't invited. At choosing time, while the other kids play board games and read, Brian sits at his table, doing what he loves to do best. He draws fire-breathing dragons scaling tall buildings, space aliens locked in intergalactic battles, greedy pirates digging for treasure, and superheroes who have the power to make friends wherever they go. So we're going to stop here, and I'm going to show you your first Stop and Jot that I want you to complete. Okay, so Jot number 1. Which social issue is occurring in this story, and how does Brian react to this issue? Okay, so you can pause this video and head over to your Stop and Jot doc, and then come back when you are ready. Okay, so you should have finished your jot about the social issue that you have seen so far. Now pay attention and bring that social issue with you through the remainder of this text. I also hope that you've been paying attention specifically to the illustrations in this book. They're really important and they really add to the social issue and how the characters are dealing with it. All right, we are going to continue. On Monday morning, Mrs. Carlotti introduces Justin, a new student, to the class. Brian smiles shyly at him. Some of the other kids sneak looks at Justin, trying to figure out if he's cool enough to be their friend. They haven't quite made up their minds yet. At lunch, Madison and JT watch Justin eat with chopsticks. What's that? Asks Madison as she points to Justin's food. It's bulgogi. Bul what? Bulgogi. It's Korean barbecued beef. My grandma made it for me. It's really good. Do you want to try some? There's no way I'd eat boogergi. And the kids laugh, all of them, that is, except Brian. He sits there wondering which is worse, being laughed at or feeling invisible. The next day, when Justin goes to his cubby to put away his backpack, he notices a piece of paper with his name on it. Justin, I thought the bulgogi looked good. Brian. At morning recess, Brian finds a piece of chalk on the ground and starts drawing away. You're Brian, right? Yeah. Well, thanks for the note. Hey, Justin, Emilio calls out from the tetherball court. You're up next. Sorry, I gotta go, says Justin. By the way, that's a really cool drawing, he adds before taking off. Back in class, Mrs. Carlotti asks the kids to team up in twos or threes for a special project. The kids scurry around the room to pair off, and Brian heads towards Justin. I'm already with Justin, says Emilio. Find somebody else. Brian looks at the floor, wishing he could draw a hole right there to swallow him up. Mrs. Carlotti said we can have up to 3 people in our group. We're only two. Come on, Emilio. Let him work with us. Okay, I guess. Mrs. Carlotti gives the class directions for the project. Your assignment is to work together to write a story about what you see in that photograph. Use your imagination and have fun. Whoa, cool, says Emilio. What kind of people do you think would live in houses like that? I don't know, but I bet Brian could draw them to go with our story, says Justin. Brian smiles as he takes out his lucky pen. I just want to pause here for a second, not to stop and jot, but just hoping that you're seeing a little bit of a change in the illustrations, specifically for Brian's character. So just think about what is happening in the story now and what that might mean for Brian as a character. It's lunchtime again, Brian's least favorite part of the day. Another 20 long minutes of kids talking and laughing with everyone else but him. Brian, he hears someone shout, Hey, Brian, over here. Brian turns and sees Justin waving him over. Emilio nods at Brian as he makes room for him at the table. Maybe, just maybe, Brian's not so invisible after all. I hope you enjoyed that story. I really like it because I think it teaches a really great lesson. Here is our second stop and jot. What does this story teach us about leaving others out? And what can you learn from this? So when you're ready, head over to your stop and jot document and complete this stop and jot. I'm going to show you both of the stop and jots that you're completing. Okay, so remember, stop and jot 1 is which social issue is occurring in this story and how does Brian react to this issue? And stop and jot 2 is what does this story teach us about leaving others out and what can you learn from this? Okay, so I hope that you're taking this and applying it to your independent reading books. Remember, most of our stories that we're reading have a social issue in them. If you don't have any more books at home, go online to our Epic resource, which has tons of books. And I see that a lot of you are on there reading, and it's really cool to see that you're trying different types of books too. All right, that is it for today's lesson, and I will see you soon. Bye.